Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daria if you're new here, and today's practice is a little transition tutorial. I had a request for this video, so we're going to play with the transition from three-legged down dog forward into a low lunge, that really soft step forward of the foot to the thumb. This requires some core strength, and we'll just kind of work through some exercises and some movements you can do to feel more comfortable with this transition. If you have a couple of yoga blocks, we'll be using those in practice today. If you don't have blocks, no problem. You can always find a stack of books, anything that's kind of a similar shape and size, or you can try without blocks. Whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll get started from a seat. Just take a few moments to settle into Sukhasana. Feel your sitting bones rooting to the earth. Let your knees be wide, and then face your palms either up to the sky or down on your thighs. Let your eyes fall closed. Settle your shoulders down your back, and just really simply begin to observe what's going on internally. Feeling into your physical body. Check in with how you're doing, and try to do this from a place of interest, of curiosity, rather than a place of judgment. Just let everything be exactly as it is. Feel your skin soften. Feel your breath deepen. We'll just take a few rounds of breath here, breathing in and out through your nose. Give yourself this little moment, this little pause, just to arrive to your practice. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. One more time, deep breath in, fill the lungs. Deep breath out, let go of all your air. Blink your eyes open and pivot to face toward the top of the mat. Staying in a seated position, we'll just take a few seated cat-cows to begin. Hands to your shins, take a breath in. Send your hips and your butt back in space. Draw in through your waist, lift your heart, and reach your eyes toward the sky. Open your throat. With your breath out, swallow in through your core. It's like your belly button is being suctioned back toward your spine. Get rounded through your spine. Create space between your vertebrae. Tuck your chin toward your chest. Next, inhale brings you back into an arched pose. Knees wide, lift your heart, lift your eyes. Breathing out, round and curl. Pull back on your shins to create a little more space in your back body. One more inhale, lift up. And with your exhale, round in. Breathe in, release the grip of your shins, just reach your fingertips forward. And as you breathe out, slowly roll down to lying on your back. Try to keep your feet rooted all the way down, going vertebra by vertebra, one at a time. And then softly lower the back of your heart and the back of your head. Float your knees right above your hips, shins parallel to the ground, and then take the curve out of your low back. So really press belly button to spine, flatten that arch. Press your hands to your thighs, but then press your thighs back into your hands. So we're creating some tension here. And start to breathe into the heat that's building in your core. This doesn't look like a lot, but hopefully you're feeling a lot of energy, a lot of activation in the core. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Press a little more firmly, hands to thighs and thighs back to hands. One more breath in. Stay as you breathe out. Good. You can release, let that go. Just take a moment, land your feet to the mat, let your knees fall in on one another. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Now, stack the knees over the hips one more time. Float your shins parallel to the ground, and then stack your wrists over your shoulders. Arms are floating in the air. Again, take the curve out of your low back. With your inhalation, start to stretch your right arm back as you reach your left toes forward to the top of your mat. As you breathe out, hug everything back in toward the midline. Inhale, extend left arm back, right leg forward. Exhale, squeeze it back to center. Keep moving just like this. Inhale, opposite arm and leg reach away. Exhale, hug it together. The arm and leg that are staying stationary, really try to keep them rooted exactly where they are so they're not moving at all. And then start to imagine that you're swimming through water, that the air is a little bit thick and has some resistance to it. Let's go one more time each side. Keep gluing your belly button to your spine, root into your low back. Reaching long as you breathe in. Breathing out as you come back together. Good. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Rock and roll up the length of your spine to a seat and then back down. Just a couple times here. And then roll over your shins, crossing at your ankles. We'll come into a tabletop position onto the hands and the knees. Spread down into your palms and your finger pads. Just take some circles with the shoulders over the wrists, opening up into your hands. And then reverse your circles. Now let's spin the fingertips to point a little bit toward the sides, so the heels of the hands are facing toward one another, and rock from left to right. You can kind of paw down into your hands and your palms if that feels good. Feel the texture of the mat beneath you. Now turn your fingertips to point back toward your thighs, as far as they'll go without you having to really force it, and gently rock forward and back here, opening up all the muscles down the forearms and into the wrists, spreading open the palms of the hands. Keep spreading the fingers. You can micro bend your elbows. One more breath here. And then turn your fingertips to point forward once again. We'll do a similar movement to what we just did lying down. We're going to stretch opposite arm and leg away from the midline. So as you breathe in, start to stretch your left leg back and reach your right arm forward. Press your left fingertips into the mat. Breathing out, hug knee and elbow to touch. Again, inhale, extend really long. Exhale, squeeze together. Avoid arching or rounding your spine. Stay really neutral. Belly button is hugging in and up. Inhale. Exhale. Good. 2 more right here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, we hold and squeeze this time. Press your knee to elbow. Press the elbow back to the knee. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Right palm down, left knee down. Breathing in, stretch forward through your left fingertips, back through your right toes. Breathing out, hug the knee and the elbow to touch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Check that your right toenails are spiraling down toward the mat so your hips are staying square with the breath in, and with the breath out, hug together. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, breathing in, reach super long. Breathing out, press the ground away from you, down through your right palm, and hug knee and elbow together for 3, 2, compress your core. 1, good, let it go. Take a couple cat-cows. Inhale, arch your back, open up the core, tailbone up, pull your heart forward, eyes to the sky. Breathing out, press down, round your spine, hug in through your core, close your ribs, and tuck your chin toward your chest. Inhale to arch. Exhale, round and curl. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Neutralize your spine. Find your blocks. We'll place the blocks about shoulders distance apart. And we'll come into a down dog with hands on blocks. I like to kind of wrap my thumb and pinky finger around the block so it feels really stable. And then dig down into the other 3 finger pads and the index finger mound. Take a breath in, tuck your toes, and as you breathe out, glide your hips up and back. And just feel all the opening in your back body. Take a couple breaths here. Breathing through your spine, create some length. You can shake out your head, open up the back of the throat, soften the back of the neck. Now with your next inhalation, start to float your right leg up to the sky, coming into a 3-legged down dog. With your exhalation, lift your left heel really, really high. Come high to the ball of the foot. Hug the blocks with your pinkies and thumbs, and then look forward. Draw your right knee to your right tricep. We're gonna hold and squeeze here. Press the ground away from you. Hug in through your core for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 3-legged down dog. Send your right toes up and back. Exhale, right knee threads towards your left tricep, cross the midline of the body. See if you can bring them all the way to touch for 3. Good, 2, and 1. Inhale, 3-legged down dog. Now, as you exhale, hug your right knee to your chest, chin, nose, or forehead. Really round and curl. Press the ground away from you. 3, 2, dome your upper back. 1, and softly step back into downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Next inhalation, stretch high through your left toes, 3-legged down dog. As you breathe out, lift your right heel. Hug left knee forward to your tricep, maybe to your elbow, but see how high on the arm you can bring your leg. Holding for 3. Squeeze your heel towards your sitting bone for 2 and 1. Inhale, 3-legged down dog, left leg rises. Exhale, left knee, right tricep. Squeeze here. Dig into your finger pads. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, drive your left knee forward, straight through the center line, toward your chest, your chin, your nose, or your forehead. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Step back into downward facing dog. Take a breath in, lift your heels. Breathing out, sink your knees to the mat. Come to a seat, back on your heels. We'll take a little pause. Now, we'll start to play with another drill, working toward transitioning the foot through all the way to step into a lunge. Here are some things to think about. Keep your hips a little bit higher in space than you think that you need to. There's a little shifting of the hips actually back to create space for the leg to go through. I'll show you. If I sink my hips a little too soon as I'm transitioning forward, there's nowhere for the foot to go. Everything gets stuck. When the hips stay a little higher, I have some space to softly step forward. So let's focus on that for this next drill. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. With the breath in, start to float your right leg high, 3-legged down dog. With your breath out, lift your left heel, hug your right knee towards your chest, but again, hips stay a little bit high. Keep the shoulders kind of behind your wrists, not quite stacked. And then play with flexing your right toes, see if you can tap them towards your right wrist, and then back to a bent knee. Again, tap right toes to right wrist. Back to the bent knee. Just one more time. Really press the ground away from you. Keep your left heel high. Right toes, right wrist. And step back. Downward facing dog. Good. Same thing to the left. Breathing in, stretch your left leg high. Breathing out, hug. Left knee toward your chest, but keep the shoulders a little bit back from the wrists. Right heel really high. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Knee to the chest. Then left toes tap. Left wrist. And back to bent knee. Even if they don't tap all the way, kind of intend them in that direction. Squeeze, compress the core, and bent knee. And then one more time, tap. Left toes, left wrist. Good. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Take a little break. Lift your heels, sink your knees to the ground. The other thing that you'll start to feel the more we do this is the engagement of the core. Really focusing on the compression and the squeezing of the hamstring to keep the heel wrapping close to the sitting bone as you step through. So you have space to then bring the foot through, if that makes sense. Okay, so this time we're gonna go again and we're gonna play with stepping all the way through. The blocks are here to help because we have a little bit of extra space with the blocks under the hands. Hands back to blocks. Tuck your toes behind you, take a breath in. Breathing out, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. As you inhale, stretch high through your right leg, spin your right thigh to point down. Now breathing out, float your left heel really high on the ball of the foot. Hug your right knee to your chest. Look forward. Keep the shoulders back from the wrist, not directly stacked. Then stretch your right leg towards straight. See how softly you can place. Heel, then ball of foot, then the toes down, coming into a lunge. While we're here, sink your back knee. Take an inhalation. Let's rise up into Anjaneyasana. Nice, feel good. And then with your breath out, place your palms to the mat, pick up your back knee. See if you can transition out of this in reverse. So we'll inhale to prepare, growing long through your spine. With your exhale, press straight down into your palms, round, hug in through your core. See if you can float your right foot, then bend your knee and step back, downward facing dog. One breath in, one breath out. Next inhalation, float your left leg high to the sky, 3-legged down dog. Breathing out, float your right heel off the ground. Hug your left knee to your chest. Keep your hips a little bit back in space, a little high. Look forward. Look to where you're placing the foot and then really deliberately heel lands, ball of the foot and the toes. Sink your right knee. Breathing in, float your fingertips up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. With your breath out, palms come back to the mat. Start to pick up your hips. Send them back in space. Come high onto the ball of your right foot. Breathe in to prepare, grow through your spine. When you breathe out, press straight down, get hollow, hollow, hollow in your core, and float your left foot all the way back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in, breath out. Heels lift, knees to the mat. Come to a seat. We'll just play one more time with that step forward transition and then transitioning back out of it. If you want to play without the blocks, go ahead and try it. You can slide them out of the way or just keep practicing on the blocks. Remember, your blocks do have different settings. I would recommend either the lowest setting, maybe the medium setting. The high setting is a little wobbly, so not always the best. Let's take palms to the mat or the blocks. Tuck your toes, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Breathe in and stretch high through your right toes, three-legged down dog. Breathing out, pick up your left heel in slow motion like you're moving through water. Keep the hips high, keep the back heel lifted, hug your right heel really close to your sitting bone. Then just drive your knee forward to your chest. Look forward to your thumb. Soft, soft, soft transition. Make space for the foot and step it through. Right foot, right thumb. Keep your back knee lifted this time. Let's breathe in and rise up to standing in a high crescent lunge. With your breath out, circle your palms back to the mat or to the blocks. You could try on fingertips for more space. Inhale, stretch your right leg towards straight-ish. Exhale, press straight down. It's like cat pose in your upper back. That's how much you're rounding. Float your right foot up and step back. Downward facing dog. It's okay to bend the knee on that transition back. Inhale, float your left leg high, three-legged down dog. With your breath out, pick up your right heel. Start to hug left knee to your chest. Squeeze your heel in tight, tight, tight. Look forward to your thumb. Keep the shoulders leaning a little bit back. Softly step left foot forward to your thumb and come into your lunge. Press into your big toes. Breathe in, rise to standing, high crescent lunge. Tuck the tailbone, lift the heart. Breathing out, palms circle down to the mat or to the blocks. Inhale to stretch your left leg straight-ish. Create a little bit of like a bounciness in your legs. And then with your breath out, press down, suction belly button to spine, and glide your left foot back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in, lift your heels. Breathe out, sink your knees to the mat. Take the knees wide or keep them together, whatever you prefer. We're gonna take a few last breaths in child's pose. Sit the hips to the heels, crawl your fingertips forward. You can relax your forearms down. Spread the breath through your back body and between your ribs and into the creases of your hips. Full inhalation, full exhalation. You're welcome to stay here in child's pose or maybe move into a longer practice from here. But this is a great one to come back to, or these are drills that you can practice more on your own and then gradually build and build so you're doing more and more of them. And then hopefully you'll start to see some difference in the softness and the way you're intentionally able to step forward. I hope that this was a helpful practice. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can do that down below. You can also join as a monthly donation member. This really helps to support me. I will see you soon in the next class. Bye.